Hidden away in both remoteness and mystery, deep within the Arctic Circle, exists a small patch of land that breaks the monotony of the endless ocean. To any sailor drawing near its stony shores, the striking sight of a snow-covered mountain rising awkwardly from the sea is hard to miss. This is January Mayen, a diminutive volcanic island located around 280 miles, or 450 kilometers, off Greenland's eastern edge, isolated in the icy expanse of the Arctic Ocean. Given its compact size and distant location, it's not surprising that most people have never heard of it, and even those who have likely know very little beyond where it is on a map. So why does this obscure landmass deserve attention? Despite being situated far from the European mainland, January Mayen is officially part of Norway, having been governed by Nordland County since 1995. However, the Norwegian armed forces also play a significant role in its administration due to the island's notable military presence. Shaped somewhat unusually, January Mayen consists of two main landmasses, a broad northern section named Nord January and a narrower oval-shaped southern portion known as Sør January, joined together by a narrow stretch of land called an isthmus. The larger northern part hosts the Beerenberg volcano, which stands at a towering 7,470 feet, 2,277 meters, and spans 9.3 miles, 15 kilometers in diameter at sea level. Beerenberg is not only the northernmost active volcano on the planet, but also the only one in Norway, though its last known eruption occurred in 1985. Meanwhile, the island's southern part is distinguished by steep cliffs rising directly from the ocean, though its highest point, Rudolftoppen, reaches just 2,500 feet, dwarfed by Beerenberg's scale, covering an area of only 144 square miles, 373 square kilometers. January Mayen is roughly comparable in size to England's Isle of Wight and is easy to overlook on global maps. The island's volcanic origins result in minimal plant life, with sparse vegetation consisting mostly of mosses and grasses growing from gravel and volcanic soil. The isthmus that connects the two parts of January Mayen is home to two lagoons, aptly named Sør Laguna, South Lagoon, and Nord Laguna, North Lagoon, a fine example of the island's straightforward naming conventions. These lagoons sit at the island's lowest elevation. Geologically, January Mayen is classified as a microcontinent, a piece of continental crust that has drifted away from its parent tectonic plate, in this case, the Greenland plate. This places it in the same category as larger microcontinents like Zealandia and Madagascar. January Mayen lies along the mid-Atlantic ridge, the same tectonic boundary that runs beneath Iceland, accounting for the island's geothermal activity and volcanic origin. Despite the subterranean heat, the island maintains a frigid climate. According to the Köppen climate classification, January Mayen has a tundra climate, meaning even in its warmest month, average temperatures don't exceed 50 degrees Celsius. Based on records from 1991 to 2020 at the Olankenbyen weather station, August, the warmest month, averages a high of just 46.279 degrees, while March, the coldest month, averages 25.39 degrees.
The minimal fluctuation between winter and summer temperatures can be attributed to the island's surrounding ocean currents. As explained by Astrid Liso from the Geological Survey of Norway, Jan Mayen is the only northern hemisphere landmass where warm and cold ocean currents converge, the East Greenland Current from the west, and the Gulf Stream from the east. This unique oceanographic feature makes Jan Mayen extremely sensitive to changes in ocean temperatures and global climate patterns. The island is known for its persistently bleak weather, largely due to its high number of cloudy days. Though it receives about 51 inches of precipitation annually, roughly equivalent to New York City's average, the rainfall is more evenly spread out. With an estimated 242 overcast days per year, Jan Mayen is even cloudier than Anchorage or Seattle, the two cloudiest cities in the United States. Volcano is the island's largest settlement, though largest is relative, with a peak population of about 35 residents during the summer months. These are primarily military personnel or meteorologists, with a few scattered outposts like Frydenlund and Pupebu, names that are admittedly difficult to pronounce correctly. The only road on the island, Jan Mayen, connects Volcano to Pupebu. With no permanent civilian inhabitants, the number of residents during the winter often drops to fewer than 10. Access to and from Jan Mayen is primarily via air, with flights landing at Jan Mayen's Field Airport, a basic gravel airstrip that poses serious landing challenges during poor weather, lacking advanced navigation systems. Cargo ships occasionally deliver supplies in the summer, though the lack of a proper harbor means they must anchor offshore. Some tourist cruises also visit the island on routes between Aberdeen, Scotland, and Longyearbyen, Svalbard. Weather permitting, visitors may briefly disembark to explore select areas of the island. Due to its volcanic makeup, Jan Mayen's only significant natural resource is gravel. Therefore, the island produces virtually no exports beyond scientific data, and its economy is entirely centered on supporting its military and weather stations. The waters surrounding Jan Mayen, however, are rich in fish, a resource Norway has long taken advantage of. Since the 1980s, the country has established a 200 nautical mile, 370 kilometer exclusive economic zone around the island. Within this zone, undersea exploration has revealed various minerals such as copper, cobalt, zinc, lithium, silver, gold, and scandium, though commercial extraction has yet to commence. There is also speculation about the presence of natural gas deposits in nearby waters. This remains unconfirmed. Lacking an indigenous population, Jan Mayen's human history is one of transient visits. The earliest known explorers to reach the island may have been the Vikings in the early medieval era. A land called Svalbard is mentioned in the Viking Age book Landnamabok, the Book of Settlements, which is now believed to possibly refer to Jan Mayen. The passage reads, "From Langanes on the north side of Iceland, it is 4 dogers sea to Svalbard on the north of Hafsbotn." In this context, doger refers to about 12 hours sailing time, and Hafsbotn is an old name for the sea north of Norway and northeast of Greenland. Since Jan Mayen is closer to Iceland than modern Svalbard, some historians think the Vikings might have actually landed on Jan Mayen. After this, no known references to the island appear until the early 1600s, when Dutch and English rivalry over Arctic whaling led to renewed exploration. Historian J.M. Wordy wrote in the Geographical Journal that due to the competitive nature of the whaling trade, some early claims may be unreliable or even intentionally concealed for economic reasons. An early English claim credits the island's discovery to Henry Hudson, or William Hudson, according to a mistake by 17th century captain Thomas Edge. In his writings, Edge claimed that Hudson discovered an island at 71 degrees latitude called Hudson's Touches, which he believed to be Jan Mayen. However, this account is widely dismissed as inaccurate, with Edge having a reputation for exaggeration. The Dutch claim, credited to Jan Jacobzoon May van Schellinghout, is better supported, so much so that the island still bears his name today. Dutch academic Louvren's Hakboer noted that Jan Mayen was first seen by Englishman John Clark on June 28, 1614, while working for a shipping company based in Dunkirk. Clark was joined soon after by 3 Dutch ships, 2 sent by the Noords Compagnie, a whaling firm, and another backed by private investors. The latter vessel was captained by Jan Jacobzoon May. It wasn't until 1620 that Dutch cartographer Willem Jans Bleu immortalized the name Jan Mayen on maps. Had a British cartographer been more prominent at the time, we might be calling it Clark Island instead. When the Dutch fleet returned to the Netherlands, the ship from Delft that carried the news of the discovery passed it only to the Noordscompagnie, not to the Dutch government. This secrecy was deliberate, intended to monopolize whaling rights and avoid state interference. The company returned in 1615 to claim whaling profits for itself, without oversight. Eventually, word of this cover-up reached shareholders, sparking disputes. Official Dutch records from that period referred to the island as Eiland in Kwestie, the island in question. By 1616, the States General granted whaling rights to both the Noordscompagnie and the shareholders, leading to the creation of the Kleine Noordscompagnie, small northern company. In 1618, which operated until 1622, by then, Jan Mayen had become a bustling seasonal whaling outpost with 5 to 10 ships arriving annually. As many as 200 men lived and worked on the island during peak seasons, operating from 6 camps on the western coast. These temporary stations were dismantled after each season, with blubber-rendering equipment packed up. In 1624, the first permanent buildings were erected, though some were destroyed during winter storms. By 1628, 2 fortified stations were built to deter competing whaling fleets from Dunkirk and the Basque Country. Still in 1632, 2 Basque ships raided the island during the off-season, destroying infrastructure and stealing vast quantities of whale oil and bones, costing over $1 million modern-day dollars. In response, the company left 7 men behind the next winter, all of whom died from cold exposure or illness, likely from consuming polar bear meat tainted with trichinosis. Whaling on Jan Mayen declined rapidly due to overexploitation. By the 1640s, whale populations had dropped so dramatically that the island was virtually abandoned for nearly 200 years, with only occasional visits from seal hunters. One notable event during this period was a volcanic eruption in 1732, observed by English sailor Jacob Lamb, who saw it erupt from the foot of the mountain. A major turning point came during the winter of 1882 to 1883, when a team of 14 Austro-Hungarian researchers spent 13 months conducting scientific studies on the island. Their work included mapping, meteorology, geomagnetic research, aurora studies, and hydrography, proving that long-term occupation was possible.